What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and it's that time of the month. Today, we're going to be talking about the list of cards that TCGPlayer sends out that they have identified as the ones that have grown the most in value on their website over the last 30 days. Now, before we talk about the what, the why, the how, and all that good stuff, so a couple things I want to note is, first off, in order to be on the list from TCGPlayer, the cards had to have at least 5 sales over the last 30 days, right? You don't want 1 or 2 sales driving a price one way or the other, so they have to have at least 5 sales. Additionally, to qualify for this list, they had to start off at $30 or more. Nothing wrong with cards under $30, but that was the qualifier to be on this list. And according to TCGPlayer, they had to be sold in near mint condition. So now we know all of that. But the thing that I really love about this list is because when you think about it, like, this is incredibly impactful with the buying and selling volume that we have on TCGPlayer. Like, this is a fantastic way to keep your finger on the pulse of market sentiment, right? Because think about it, what drives prices in the Pokemon space? Like, it's demand. That's literally it. There's nothing else. The only thing that determines price of a Pokemon card is you and me and all of the other collectors out there. So when we see price spiking, that means that demand is spiking. And when you think about what is going to help these cards hold their long-term value, it's demand. Now, it is very, very true that we will see instances where for a short period of time, particular cards will experience high volumes of demand. Matter of fact, if you saw my video yesterday where we talked about the cards that had gained the most value over the last week, we were seeing some short-term demand. And we even went back to February of 2025. We went back 8 months ago and we looked at some cards from back then that had experienced periods of high demand, which didn't hold very long. But again, when you think about those cards that we've talked about, they didn't have the big names. They didn't come from the big sets. So you have to kind of weed through the cards that are on this list. But again, if you can identify big name Pokemon from some big sets with some awesome artwork that are on here, obviously they're experiencing a really, really high degree of demand, which in the long run can certainly lead to some very good price stability, which I'm starting to think about now, because I don't know if the market is going to be able to stay as hot as it is, but I do think that price stability is going to be very important. And again, even if the market stays hot, if it's going to be stable, it'll also have the opportunity for some serious growth. But outside of that, the other thing that I look at too is this list helps us identify certain segments of the market where people are paying the most attention. Remember, because if the price goes up, then that's indicative of demand. So what I wanted to call out here is this graph I have on the left. And we started doing this, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago. And what I was doing is I was aggregating the number of cards. There's 10 cards on this list, the number of cards on this list that are from the Sword and Shield generation and older. And I thought that was important because what did we see after February? We saw all the Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet cards really start to nosedive in price, while XY and Sun and Moon remained hot. So if you look at this, January and February, there were only 3 and 4 cards respectively on this list that were older than the Sword and Shield generation. Then March, April, May, June. I mean, if you think about it, out of the 40 possible cards, 10 cards per month, 4 total months, there were only 2 out of those 40 cards which were from Sword and Shield and newer. So obviously we knew the whole market was shifting. Then if you look in July and August, you can see that there was just a slow twitch, just a slow turn back towards, we have a couple cards from the Sword and Shield generation and newer. And then obviously in September, we only saw 1 card that was older than Sword and Shield. And this month in October, we're only going to see 1 again that is older than Sword and Shield. So the reason I think all of that is important is because what you can do is you can identify periods where the Sword and Shield and the Scarlet and Violet era were underloved, right? They weren't getting all the attention. Everybody was focused on other things. And so for me, that is the best time to pick up those Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet cards. Now, we do a lot of other data-driven videos here on this channel, like we graph the way the top 20 singles cards and booster boxes move month over month. So none of these price movements were new to any of us watching this. But I will tell you, seeing the individual cards outside of just those top 20s is incredibly impactful too. So if it's me, because I always say I never know where the bottom is, like it is impossible. Nobody has a crystal ball. Like nobody knows where the bottom is going to be in terms of when prices are dropping. But when I see a period like this, where 2 consecutive months, all of the cards on a video series like this are Sword and Shield or longer, that is a fantastic indicator to me. Okay, listen, like the Sword and Shield market and the Scarlet and Violet market is being completely overlooked. Like that would have been a fantastic time to look at some of those awesome cards and possibly pick them up. And with hindsight, we now know today, a lot of them have grown significantly since that period of time. So really cool takeaways, and I just wanted to add some more value to this video series because I think it's a ton of fun. So before we look at the 10 cards, if you enjoyed this type of introduction, if you like this type of data-driven approach, listen, you're gonna love this channel, so hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. So kicking down the door, starting with number 1 is, listen, Prismatic Evolutions is one of my favorite sets. I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face, so I won't beat that drum any longer, but this Roaring Moon card has been featured a lot over the last, I'd say, 45 days here on this channel because of the price movement, because of the demand. Like, this is a $300 card now. Now, I have admitted very openly that I'm approaching it with a little bit of trepidation. The artwork is absolutely phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. The way the gold and the red and the blue all interact with each other, and Roaring Moon is such a cool Pokemon. But I'm being honest, which I always try to be, if I'm thinking about 15 years from now, if I think about how many Prismatic Evolution cards are going to be up over that $300, $400, $500 range, like, I think it's going to be a lot of the Evolution special illustration rares, obviously. Like, is this Roaring Moon going to be one of them? Who knows? All I know is the artwork is amazing. Obviously, it's up 86% over the last 3 months, with a lot of those gains coming over the last 45 to 50 days. It is just incredible. So really cool card, really fantastic artwork to start the video series off. And no matter what, I think Prismatic Evolutions is going to be a very special set for a very long time. Now, the next card that's on this list, and you are going to see a bit of a pattern form as we continue to go throughout the course of this video, but you have the Miraidon card right here. And this is obviously from the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box. You can see that this is the promo card that comes in it. It has the Pokemon Center stamp down there in the bottom right. And again, this is another thing that we have been able to identify quite a while ago. We have seen the price movements in these Pokemon Center exclusive stamp promos. Do you remember when that Eevee from the Prismatic Evolutions one, it got down to $50, which was absolute lunacy. Like, I was screaming from the top of my lungs. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody, like, you are not going to have the opportunity to pick this card up at $50 for very long. And I don't even know where the price is today, but I'm assuming it's significantly higher than that. But looking at this card right here, like, this is another one where until they fix the supply and demand curve for these Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes, or maybe they never will, but until they fix that, I don't think any of these cards are going to live very long in that $30 to $35 range. And this is one which was north of that. It was in like the $50 range. Again, this is from the Scarlet and Violet base set, so this is one of the absolute oldest ones out there. And you can see that it is all the way up at almost $100. So these cards are really rare. I think a lot of people are keeping those Pokemon Center exclusive ETB sealed, which I think is going to overall decrease the number of these that are out there in the wild in population. So I just think there's a lot to love about these cards. So really cool that this one is coming in at number 2 on the list. Now, the next one is the same thing, the Thundurus card right here. And again, just to everything that I said, look at where the price point was right around 3 months ago. This was a $27 card coming from a Pokemon Center exclusive ETB with that coveted stamp on there. There was no reason, like, you could have bet just about anything in the world that this card was going to end up as a $30, $40 card, and obviously you would have undersold it because here it is coming in at almost $63 right now, up 88% over the last 3 months. So again, I will continue to say this until they fix the supply and demand issue with the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. All of these promos, any of them that live in that $20, $30 price range, I think are fantastic buys, and I think will do really well in the long run. Now, next one we're talking about right here. This is a Pikachu promo card, okay? So this one is from an early era box from the Sword and Shield generation. And when you look at it, Pikachu and friend cards is what I call them. Anytime you have Pikachu and some other Pokemon that are focused on it, it tends to do really well over time, even if it takes a long time for that to actually happen. Sometimes we get caught up with the fact that we want these incredible price spikes to happen here and now. But I promise you, that is not how traditional markets work. So this is an awesome card and a great example of one you could have picked up a while ago. It would have taken a while for the upside to happen, but now that it is, you're looking at an $84 card, which is an absolute stunner. And don't sleep on that Paldea Adventure chest, okay? There is a promo card which is very similar to this. It's a Pikachu and Friends card in there. I highlighted it on my promo card under $20 video not long ago. Like, I think it is going to do really well in the long run, and it reminds me of this, and this one is almost at $90. So a very cool comparison here. Next one we're going to talk about is another card. Huge fan of this Tyranitar, huge fan of Paldea Evolved, obviously a huge set, and I think this one is absolutely amazing. So this Tyranitar card right here, terrible gem rate, absolutely terrible gem rate. When you look at this one, it has, I don't know, I think it's like a 28 or 30% gem rate overall. Obviously you have the Magikarp, which is the big chase card for this set, but Tyranitar and Raichu coming in at number 2 and number 3 respectively really helps us just round out the overall kind of, I don't know, call it firepower that set has. Like, I think having those three at the very top, I think the fact that the gem rates are abysmally low, I think that the fact that the artwork is really, really cool. Like, I think these cards have the opportunity to be really, really special in the long run. And again, this is one which was cruising right at $40 3 months ago. Then you see that light blue bar graph, which shoots up. Obviously, that indicated a very large purchase at the time. Almost 90 of these cards were purchased in a short period of time. But look what's happened since then. Even with that quote-unquote buyout, it has still gained appreciatively over time in terms of value. It is up 90% at $81. Absolutely love this card and love that set. Next one on the list, check out this Mewtwo V alt art promo card. Or it's not a promo, excuse me, this alt art card from Pokemon Go. Like, this card is absolutely awesome, and what a great example of a card from a set that was really, really unloved for a long time. Pokemon Go was certainly not a set that hit with a whole lot of fanfare. My God, you could have bought those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs forever at well under MSRP, and this card is finally getting a little bit of love. It's up 100% over the last 3 months. It started off at $40. It is all the way up at $83 right now. And all of the Mew and Mewtwo cards, I've been talking a lot about some of the Mew cards, especially some of the ones from some of the bigger name sets. Like, they're starting to really get some momentum in the hobby. Like, those two characters are starting to really get a lot of love, and they've always had a lot, but they're just starting to get a little bit of extra oomph right there. So seeing a card like this spike all the way up to almost $84 just brings my heart a lot of happiness, because I think it's an awesome card from a set that was very, very underloved for a long time. Now, next card on this list, we've talked about Silver Tempest a lot, and I will not get too far down the rabbit hole, but Silver Tempest was absolutely obliterated as far as I'm concerned in terms of print run, because it was available at MSRP on the Pokemon Center for such a long time. Literally everything was sold out from the Sword and Shield era on the PokemonCenter.com here in the US, except Silver Tempest. I remember every single month that would go by, I'm like, well, it's going to sell out now. Nope. Well, it's going to sell out now. Nope. Like, it was incredible how long it was able to stay on the Pokemon Center website. And then what happened was, when it finally did sell out, it sold out right as the market was starting to take a bit of a downturn. So I had said a lot of these Silver Tempest cards really didn't have the chance to go on the big run like a lot of the other Sword and Shield cards have, and now we're starting to see them get some love, right? Where that Lugia V alt art is really starting to do well in terms of price appreciation. Obviously, the Rayquaza right here, this VMAX Trainer Gallery card, it is up 100% over the last 3 months. It is at $147. It was a $70 card 3 months ago, and far less than that a year ago. So I'm excited to see Silver Tempest get its due. I think it's a fantastic set with a lot of awesome cards in it. So seeing this one at almost $150, really, really cool card, really, really cool story about Silver Tempest. And, you know, it is hard to believe that there was a time where all of these things were available at the PokemonCenter.com. I think we'll get there again. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I can't wait until these cards and boxes and products become more approachable, you know, and easier for all of us to get our hands on. Next thing we're talking about, the only card that is not from the Sword and Shield era or newer on this list. This is a promo card right here. This is a Zygarde, excuse me, and it's up 116% over the last 3 months. As you can see, this was a $25 card not long ago. You can see a couple of those light blue bar graphs that really shoot up. So you can see there were a couple different instances where a person or group of people went on TCGPlayer and bought a lot of them. But even though the fact there were these big instances of purchases, it has continued to grow in value, coming in at almost $60 now, again, up almost 116% over the last 3 months. So yes, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are getting a lot of love and a lot of attention right now, rightfully so, but we still have some really cool cards from other generations that are doing really, really well. Next card on the list right here is, again, another Pokemon Center exclusive stamped promo right here, and obviously this is from Destined Rivals. There should be absolutely no expectation that this card would do anything less than what it's doing right now, coming in at $156. I mean, those boxes, I promise you, in the long run, those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs from Destined Rivals are going to go for a ton of money. That is the regular series set from the Scarlet and Violet era. This artwork is absolutely incredible. It just has all of the intangibles that you want for a card to be really special. And again, anytime you have that Pokemon Center exclusive stamp on it, it just seems to bring a very, very aggressive price point. So coming in at almost $157, up 122% over the last 3 months. Now, this is one which was sitting in the $65, $70 range for a long time, which I can understand why some people wouldn't pile in on it. But again, when you think about cards like this, yes, the Pokemon Center stamp is going to drive a lot of interest. It's going to drive a lot of demand because of the rarity. But I also think, to couple it with the fact that it came from such a high quality set, like, we should have known that this was going to be a much more valuable card than $65 back then. So really, really cool card. Really cool takeaway from this one. Next thing on this list right here, and this one is just absolutely going insane insane. And this is the final one for today. And this is the Umbreon V alt art from Evolving Skies. And seeing this card up at $700, up 193% over the last 3 months, you know, listen, it's hard for me to say anything negative about Evolving Skies or alt arts from that set. We all know that the odds of pulling any of those are absolutely infinitesimally small. We all know that obviously the Moonbreon is the chase card from the Sword and Shield generation. This is the sister card. The Moonbreon is a VMAX. This is a regular V. I think the artwork on this is really special, but man, $700 is just so much money. You know, this is outpacing even the Rayquaza VMAX alt art, at least last I checked, or they're going 1-on-1 kind of neck and neck here. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But man, this card is gotten very, very hot in a very short amount of time. You can see it's had some chunky gains, so we'll just have to wait and see. Again, it is very hard to bet against anything in the Evolving Skies era, but seeing it flatten out at least gives me a little bit of hope that maybe it's going to calm down a little bit, because I do get cautious. 3 months ago, this was a $225 card. In 3 short months, it shot up over to $686. So hey, listen, collect what you love. Again, when you think about the biggest sets from Generations, it's hard to go wrong with them, but man, $700 is a whole lot of money for this card in a very short amount of time. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed some lessons from the beginning. We have some really cool content coming up from the rest of this week. We got a really cool look into what's going on at PSA in terms of grading volume. I finally got the top 10 Pokemon in terms of sales volume at TCGPlayer over the last month, which is a really cool video. We have a lot of takeaways from that. So if you enjoyed this one, I got some more cool stuff coming your way. And if you had fun and you haven't done these things yet, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a very long way in helping my small channel out. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All right, everybody, you guys have an epic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.